Hello, welcome back to Marriage Minutes at his pace. Why you got your dirty shoe up? Today, obviously, we have some visuals that Mark is happy to play with. We have show and tell. Okay, so today we're going to talk about issues. There are several issues in marriage that we feel like become stumbling blocks to people succeeding. So we're going to talk about them today. We're going to talk about unidentified shoes. We're going to talk about revealed shoes. And lastly, we're going to talk about resolved shoes. Issues, if you haven't figured it out. What are unidentified shoes or unidentified issues?
So what's difficult about it is there's branding on this that makes it very identifiable. But what if this branding wasn't here? And I think even in our lives, there are shoes that are definitely not branded that we have no idea that exist. They just kind of dormant, or we just accepted that that's the way I am. I act the way I act. I am what I am. That's all that I am. And so that's Popeye. And so
No, got it.
So we have shoes that are just unidentified, and we accept the behavior, we accept the dysfunction, we accept the character flaw, and we just operate in it because that's who we are. That's who I've always been. And so we're not sure how detrimental it is to the marriage. We just want people to be accepting of it and to let it just be.
And I want to add on to that, because to me, you were leading into some people who just know who they are and they accept it. But I want us to be clear that unidentified issues are issues that you just act the way you act and enjoy it, like it. You're not checked by it. You're not convicted by it. It's the way you are. And I guess you say, this is how I am. That's where you were going with that. But I don't want you to understand unidentified issues as being you're accepting of it. It is who you is. It is who you is.
Until.
Right. And so that means you have no clue. You are just walking through life, possibly offending people, possibly endangering yourself, hurting others, using you being triggered and medicating yourself, self-medicating yourself, doing you, boo, without any regard. That's what unidentified shoes are in my mind. And I feel like you were saying that, but I didn't want people to be like, yeah, that's just the way no, that's another thing to me, which is the next topic.
Which is what?
Revealed issues. Now, to me, revealed issues are a person that be like, Lord, am I a professor? A person that is like, that's just the way I am. Yep, my mama did that and my daddy did that. And so I'm going to do that because that's just the way I am. Those are, clearly that just because your mama did it don't mean it ain't crazy. And just because your daddy did it don't mean you ain't crazy. But yet you continue to decide to do those things. To me, those are revealed shoes.
Yeah. So in culture, I think that's a lot of stuff. We do stuff just because somebody else does it. And so like even growing up, the thing was, when you got these fresh new pair of Chuck Taylors, man,
fresh.
These ain't fresh. They just have been through homecoming. But we used to put the flap down, and don't really know why we did it because, but we just did it. And so we didn't know if it was effective or not, if our ankles are messed up or whatever the case may be. But we're accepting of it and really don't know if it's detrimental to the people around us. We don't really care to a certain degree. We want them to be accepting of it. And if you can't be accepting of it, then there's something wrong with you, not necessarily me.
And you're being triggered, but you don't even know that you don't know what to do with that trigger, right? So something makes you angry and you react. Something makes you sad and you react. I won't say something, the thing. So you can't stand when people chew with their mouth open, right? You know that irritates you. And so when somebody is sitting there chewing with their mouth open, you feel like you have permission and a right to tell that person off because they're doing something that you don't like. There's no self-regulation. There's no, maybe the person can't close their mouth. Maybe they have something wrong with their mouth and they can't close their mouth. But I mean, there's no self-evaluation of, is this something that I can tolerate, or is this something that I just need to respond to because I'm triggered and I don't like it? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. There's one more.
Which is?
Resolved issues. And I like to say heading towards resolved issues, because we might not ever get to completely resolve. Resolved issues is go.
I'm listening.
No, I don't want to do that. It's your turn. You know what resolved issues are.
You got a resolved issue, unresolved issue right now?
Yeah, I do. I definitely have an identified, revealed issue.
Oh, really? It's about 5
Fine. Okay, good.
Resolved issue. These are things that are brought to your attention either through trial and error, through prayer, or just an inert feeling inside that this something ain't right, and you know something ain't right. An unhealed part of your emotions, some dysfunction that you just finally realize and come to the realization that this is detrimental to who your character is and who you want your character to be. It's something that God has revealed to you that needs to be healed, which honestly, all these issues God is really going after because he wants to make you into the image of his son, Jesus Christ. But in order to do that, he has to deal with these issues. Mm-hmm. Some come easy, some come hard. But resolved issues are ones that you're able to identify, and you start to make the adjustments in your character, the adjustments in your interaction with people. So for example, I had a hard time connecting with people because of some of the things I experienced as a child, but I never understood it, the emotional connection, how important it was. And that's what life is about connecting. And so it was not allowing me to connect in the manner in which I need to connect to those people who love me, because I was dealing with some things that I had to deal with unresolved, or unrevealed, and so it wasn't until I dealt with that part of my life that I started to understand it, and those issues started to be resolved. And the funny thing of it is once you peel away at it, you really see more of what you need to deal with it. So it's almost like man, it's a bottomless pit, so to speak, or it's access to a part of your life in which there may be more stuff that you need to deal with. It's easy to just deal with the scab that's on the arm, but what if it's something that's, like a spine, for example, a spine injury that's conducive to every part of my body having to move, that affects a lot of different parts. And so it's important that you're able to identify these issues. And, most of the time, like I said, there might be a little issue inside of an issue, but as you go along, you just have to do your work for you. It's all about you. It ain't about nobody else.
So when we started this, I was looking at the cleanliness and the wear and tear of the shoes. And it's interesting to me that the last shoe is the shoe that sits by the door. I need you to wash your hands when you're done with this, because you had your hands all over. No, that's nasty. That's nasty. The dirtiest shoe in the house, the shoe that I keep to go out in the garden, take the dog. Mark, it's nasty. Okay, well, I'm not. So listen. Oh, that's horrible. Please let me make the point. I was really going somewhere deep, and I shouldn't even told you, but you do need to wash your hands. Listen, the dirtiest shoe of all the three that we brought up is the one that has been around the longest, but it is the one that is the most healed. Isn't that interesting that is the one that he talked about? It's got stripes on it. It's got stains on it. It's worn out, but it's tried and true. And guess what? Your marriage, the more resolved issues it has in it, the shoes are going to look like this, but they still work. they still are great. They might have creases on them, they might have holes in them, but it still works. And that is the value of continuing to try to stay in this thing with your issues. And the last thing I'll say is that we got a multitude of issues. All of us have a whole bunch of stuff that we are vacillating through in our lives. We're never going to get to this end of this thing. But the wonderful thing about marriage is that we can bring all of our dirty issues to the table, and we can work on them individually and collectively if we truly love each other. So check that out. Do some thinking, do some meditation and some prayer around unidentified issues, identified or revealed issues, and then resolved issues. And we're going to go wash our hands and take a shower since we've had these nasty shoes in our hands.
And so,
oh, you still got something to say?
Just
before
remember,
you go wash your hands.
how resolved it may be, it still may fall over, but now you know how to get support to get you through. So,
okay,
there's lessons within lessons.
Amen. And we're going to wash our hands for 40 to 60 seconds. Have a great day.